Hello and welcome to A Thread of Innovation, a podcast brought to you by Polytex and 103 FM. I'm Shimrit Marom, VP of Marketing at Polytex. In each episode, I sit down with people who are changing the world of textile logistics through technology, sustainability, and new ways of thinking. In this episode, I sit down with Eyal Goldberger, the General Manager of the InterContinental Jerusalem, located on King George Street, with a view to the Old City. The hotel is scheduled to open this coming summer, right?
Absolutely.
Eyal is a specialist in managing the practical transition from a construction site to a full operational luxury hotel. Eyal, thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
We're curious to know some details about the hotel.
So I'll tell you this. This hotel is going to be special. It's the first international brand to open in Jerusalem in the last 10 years. It is overlooking the Old City. We have fantastic views that can see all through the Old City and into Jordan and the Dead Sea.
Wow.
And you have a beautiful sunrise that you can see rise over the Old City and the Old City walls. So that's something unique that no one else can really share. The hotel is overlooking Gan Ha'atzmaut. We're going to have 237 guest rooms, which of those will have 34 suites overlooking the Old City. One thing that's a great feature that really I don't believe any of the other luxury hotels have in Jerusalem, we're going to have rooms with queen beds, which is really going to be something special for our local customers, but also our international customers that are accustomed for that.
How many employees in total?
We anticipate to have around 230 to 250 employees.
Just let us know how you manage from the pre-opening phase to actually a full operational luxury hotel. That's
Sure.
The magic, where the magic happens.
So pre-opening is really about discipline. At first, you have to really be disciplined on working by yourself, setting the standards, understanding where you want to get to, and that takes time. It doesn't become operational the day I open the doors and the construction is over. So it needs to become operational with systems, with people. So I focus on three, let's say, pillars or parallel tracks. The building needs to be physically ready. The operation needs to be ready. And the emotional readiness, the team needs to be ready, and we need to set them up for success. It starts with building SOPs.
SOPs?
SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Okay.
Sorry. Things need to be tested, right? We need to make sure that everything is really in working order.
So it's fully operational 6 to 8 weeks before the hotel is starting?
A lot of the operation is fully operational. Restaurants are running, kitchens are running, we're preparing service, and we're testing it on ourselves, right? Nothing can fail when the doors open.
How do you identify potential friction points in the building design before it opens to the public?
My job is to identify these issues well before the hotel opens. And at that point, you work closely with ownership, you work closely with the brand, you work closely with the construction team to make sure you understand the plans. Making sure that, for example, we will talk about it later, the housekeeping or maid's room is nearby to where the rooms are. So she has less trips to take cleaning supplies and her cart is organized and there's a place to store her cart. There's so many things that really take place to make sure that the functionality of the building is ready.
So basically you are like on the overall vision and strictly into the details, right?
I've been very fortunate to have that opportunity.
Amazing. I assume you're under strict brand guidelines of the InterContinental Global.
Absolutely.
And how do you modify it to the Jerusalem hotel? I assume there are some tweaks. And
a lot of the guidelines that fall under the InterContinental brand standards relate to providing luxury service and making sure that we have the right linens, the specific tools that we need to get the job done. But when it comes to Jerusalem, there's a couple of things that we need to understand and be unique to the environment and some of the kosher levels. We have to make sure that the room is designed that basically when Shabbat comes in, you have the special requirements for anyone that keeps the Sabbath, ensure that they are in line with those guidelines. So electricity is set on a timer, for example.
What about fabric, textiles? Do you have guidelines on this?
We certainly have guidelines by the brand on the fill for a pillow and the types of pillows that we have to offer, the quality of linen and the quality of bath towels. We have the guidelines, the bare minimum, but we chose to go one step further and provide a little bit more than that just because of our location and what our guests are accustomed to in the local market.
I recall when we came for a visit at the InterContinental about a year ago that you showed us the whole process of where the laundry goes through, and everything was very process-oriented, logistic-wise. It was really impressive. Why are textile logistics so important in hotel operations?
In luxury hospitality, consistency defines the perception of the guest. They feel it immediately. The linen and the sheets to the touch, the way the employee appears. They can automatically see and understand if this is a high-end operation or maybe people are cutting corners. Yeah. And that's the perception part. And textiles touch every part of the guest journey, from the bed to the table to the spa, and as we mentioned, to the team members, how they're presented during service. For me, it's very, very important how we make sure that the employees are ready for service, right? And that's where, Polytex comes into play. They have
tell, what are your plans in implementing Polytex? How do you foresee this will assist you in optimizing the process?
Many of the hotels locally and even abroad, right, they have a uniform room that are stationed with a uniform attendant. Part of the Polytex system is the uniform dispensing system that holds all the uniforms. Each employee can come and retrieve their uniform for their department. They can return their damaged uniform and retrieve another piece of uniform. They help us track the amount of uniforms the employees use each day and making sure that they have the right amount and ensuring that we have the right par on hand. But also, they also look apart.
In your vision, how can such a smart textile technology supporting the optimization of a process can also support the hotel's sustainability goals?
When employees take their uniforms home, they might not be laundered properly, they might not be ironed properly, and at the same time, we either have to replace uniforms more frequently because we're not the ones managing it. That becomes an added cost to the operation. So once we're handling it on site, we're managing the way the uniforms are laundered, we're managing the way the uniforms are appearing. So from a sustainability piece, we might purchase less uniforms because we're keeping them in better conditions. We're also knowing how often to launder them and using the right chemicals on property or the right solutions. Once we incorporate, and we'll talk about this flat linen management system from Polytex and how we track it and understanding where the linen is at all times and how often it's being washed, how often it's being circulated through the operation, we can see the longevity of that linen.
Amazing. In our previous conversation, you mentioned integrating AI into the hotel management and processes to reduce costs. I was curious to hear some more about these initiatives.
When it comes to inventory control, and back in the days, a housekeeping attendant or a supervisor will go and check all the storage facilities and count linen one by one, or towels one by one, and pillowcase one by one. Same thing, they would go into guest rooms and understand what their inventory is. And anyone that says it was accurate really was lying to themselves. It was an estimate.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is with automation, and maybe not so much AI, but with technology, with the flat linen management system, Polytex provides us with
a handheld
that you would go around into the different rooms and basically scan your environment, and it automatically tells you what you have available for inventory and so forth.
It can count hundreds of items in seconds.
And the accuracy is 99.9% accurate.
If we're looking forward towards the hotel opening, could you describe the main hotel features that we should expect to experience?
The culinary journey that we're going to put our guests through. We're going to have a fantastic rooftop bar on level 18 that really is going to be the showcase of the hotel, if you ask me. We're going to mix Jerusalem with Tel Aviv, New York City, and Miami.
Can't wait to see that.
In one location. And it's going to provide something as a destination, not only for locals, but for our customers that are coming to visit Israel and Jerusalem from abroad.
And what is the current timeline we're looking at?
So we're anticipate to open middle to late July.
Wow, can't wait for that to happen. So if I were a guest to come to the hotel on the first day of the opening, what sort of experience would you want me to have?
I want you to feel at home. The first thing that's really important to us is to provide a sense of luxury where you're our guest. I'm here to host you, and I want you to feel at home. I want you to feel at ease and really feel the culture of Jerusalem with a sense of luxury.
I'm happy to talk today to Yuval Aaron from Polytex. Yuval is a key account manager in hospitality sector with years of experience. So Yuval, tell us a bit how you even got to this field.
Honestly, I joined Polytex by coincidence. I wasn't looking for technology. I was looking for a new challenge. But very quickly, I realized how perfectly it connects to my background in hospitality. I had seen the daily mess of uniform, shortages, and searching for items, and suddenly there was a solution that bring real order.
So could you describe like a typical textile manager in hospitality? How would they feel, after implementing Polytex? What would be...
After a short time, it turns into a real life. And they save hours, I think, every day. That give them the opportunity to work for other things that are not have enough time. And finally, they understand their inventory and manage everything much more easily.
Could you share a story or an anecdote that our listeners could...
We are working now with the main hotels in Israel, and I think almost every time after a few weeks, the manager smiles and says, Yuval, I can't believe we used to work without this.
Wow, that's so exciting.
This is for me the main point, to know that I really support them and help them to...
Beautiful. So thanks, Yuval, for sharing that. And thank you, Eyal.
Thank you.
For sharing your journey from the construction to a 5-star hotel luxury. And I wish you very good luck with the opening. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. See you again in the next episode.